So till now we talked about form. From this lecture we start talking about the forces of supply and demand which operates in the market. You may have already heard about supply and demand and how they interact, and often economics is deeply associated with the concepts of supply and demand. So we'll first start with the idea of supply. What does it mean? So let's first try to define it. So quantity supplied is the amount of a good that sellers are willing and able to sell. So there are two keywords, willing and able. Now you should be willing to sell something and you should also be able to sell it. Now what does this ability means? You can only sell a thing if you own it. I cannot sell something if I don't own it. So in the world of economics, supply only makes sense if you have the commodity which you can sell. Related to this concept of supply is the law of supply, which is extremely important in economics. And what the law of supply says, the quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of the good rises. So quantity supplied of the good rises as the price rises, keeping other things equal. Now, what does this keeping other things equal means? Now, amount of supply or goods that owners are willing to sell depend on not only price but also other factors like ability to produce something or technology or sorts of other things. Now when we say law of supply, that there's a positive relationship, so positive relationship between quantity supplied and price, which means if price increases, quantity supplied increases. If price decreases, quantity supplied decreases, and which makes sense, right? So if price decreases, you don't want to sell your product because you are not going to make enough profit on that product. On the other hand, when price increases, all the sellers wants to sell more. Having said that, the other factors that affect supply has to be held equal, or that means they do not change. This concept becomes clearer as we delve deeper into the concept of supply. Before we move on, let's talk about this Benz supply schedule. Schedule is nothing but a tabular way in which you can present data. So in this case, there's the price of the ice cream cone and quantity of cones supplied. That means at $0, nobody wants to sell anything, right? Nobody wants to sell this stuff for free. At 50 cents, this seller doesn't want to sell any cones at all, zero. At $1, this person will only sell one cone. At $1.50, this person will sell two cones. At $2, this person is willing to sell three cones. At $2.50, this person is willing to sell four cones. So what this schedule shows is the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied of ice cream or ice cream cones, to be specific. Often we can present this schedule in a graphical format, and that graph is called the supply curve. So let's try this. So what this shows is the schedule that which we did in the last, this is the schedule which we did in the last slide. So we'll try to plot this number. So I have price here on the vertical axis and quantity of ice cream cones on the horizontal axis, and this quantity increases as you move to the right and price increases as you go upward. So at $0, they don't want to sell anything. So at $0, this is zero, right? It starts here. At $1, they will be willing to sell one cone. So this is basically captures this. At $1.5, they're willing to sell two cones. So that captures this part. Then if you keep on doing it, at $2, they're willing to sell three cones. At $2.5, they will be willing to sell four cones. At $3, they're willing to sell five cones. And if we join all these points, that's your supply curve. So supply curve is nothing but the relationship between the price of a product and the quantity supplied at each price. And you can see as price increases from $2 to 2.5, so as increase in price leads to increase in supply from $3 to $4 units. So as price increases, the seller wants to sell more. So next, I would like to discuss the other factors that affect supply. Obviously, price is the most important thing. There are other factors that affect supply. These are input prices, the price of raw materials. We all know if raw material price goes up, then generally sellers want to sell less. We have seen it during the oil price increases. When oil price increases, generally sellers don't want to sell more because their profit margins are down. Technology obviously plays an important role. Uh, because of improved technology, today we can have multiple computers, multiple cell phones or smartphones to be precise. 20 years back, computer was a rare product because technology wasn't developed enough to produce for the masses. Third important factor is the expectations. What you expect about the future. If you expect, say, gas prices are going to go up tomorrow, or if you're a seller of gas, if you expect that tomorrow gas prices are going to go up, you don't want to sell your gas today. You want to hold it till tomorrow to sell it. Or if you are in a market for selling your car, if you know that tomorrow the price of the car that you are selling is going to go up, you will like to hold on to the car today so that you can sell tomorrow. So that's how the expectations affect. And finally, the number of sellers. Obviously, as the number of sellers increases, so is the amount of goods supplied also increases in the market.